signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Today, we're going to explore the 21-year code. On December the 21st, 2012, we have the start of our 21-year code count. The sun is in the Golden Gate. Saturn is at the foot of Virgo. Mercury in Ophiuchus. Neptune in Aquarius. Mars in Sagittarius. Jupiter in Taurus. Venus in Scorpio, and the moon in Pisces. Welcome to the watch. Today, what we're going to do is more stellarium exploration, focused on the code that we see for the beginning of the count. December the 21st, 2012, just after midnight. Here is what we see. As we scroll in closer, you're going to notice a couple of different things. First, over to the right, Saturn is at the foot of Virgo. The next thing that we see is Venus is in the claw of Scorpio. The next thing we see is Mercury in the hoopah of Ophiuchus. The next thing, the sun in the Golden Gate. And if we look closer into the Golden Gate, the sun is in the middle of the Golden Gate. And this area in the middle of the Golden Gate, if you scroll in closer, is where we find some very interesting star clusters. Over here to the left, we see M20, the Trifid Nebula. I will share the codes that I have found for the Trifid Nebula later. We also see M8, the Lagoon Nebula. Both M20, M8, and all of these nebulas are where stars are born. This area in the Golden Gate, if we scroll out, you can see that it is directly in the middle of the Milky Way. If we keep scrolling back, you will see that it is in the middle of the gate. We also see Mars under the wing of Sagittarius. Neptune is in Aquarius. All of these planets or stars in their position have great significance and tell a story. So let's go back to the beginning. First, we see Virgo with Saturn under her feet. The Virgin is considered the church, the bride, the virgin. I see this as a message to the bride. The sun being in the Golden Gate at this time every year, but the planets are always going to be in a different position. And they're always going to tell a different story. So what we see at the beginning of this count is a message to the brides. Saturn is under the foot of the bride, Virgo. Venus, also looked at in two different ways. Venus, we know, is the bright morning star, and it also represents Messiah, but it is also looked at as a feminine planet. And this feminine side can be looked at as the bride, or the church, or the body of Messiah. So it has a dual meaning, both Messiah and his church. And then we see Mercury in the Hupa. Mercury has always been known as the messenger. And we see the messenger always close to the sun. And when Mercury is in Ophiuchus, or the Hupa of Ophiuchus, which is between the legs, you'll see here in this section, let's go in a little closer. This section between the legs of Ophiuchus, you'll see here they even have a little thing that looks just like a tent. Between the legs of Ophiuchus, there's a tent. And it is known in MAZZAROTH that between the legs of Ophiuchus, from this line of his leg, and from the line that comes off the stars here and connect here, have always been known as the entry point into the Hupa. And this story starts from Virgo, because the planets are born through Virgo, and they enter into the altar, and then they enter into the protected place, which is the Hupa. And the enemy, Scorpius, is always right there waiting to try and take who he can. But if the scales weigh right, then we enter into the protected place, away from the enemy. And when we get into the protected place, we are on the verge of the Golden Gate in the heavens. And this area between the bow or arc of Sagittarius and the Libra constellation is always been known to tell a great and grand story. So being seen Venus in the claw, Mercury in the Hupa, the sun in the Golden Gate, Saturn under the foot, and all the other planetary alignments speak a very great message to the church. Mercury is telling us a message. The message is that the bride will be in the house. The bride is here being harvested. The sun is in the gate waiting for his bride. All of the other planets are in signs that speak to the bride. Neptune, being in Aquarius, speaks of the Spirit, the outpouring of the Spirit. Mars, being under the wing of Sagittarius, speaks of the church not having to go through the war. We're protected. All of these are a message to the bride. This is the beginning of the 21-year code. Signs in the sun, moon, and stars.